Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about static load balancer algorithms. These algorithms do not take into account the current server performance or load and rather route the request based on a predefined rules or configurations. There are mainly three types. Let's start with the first one, round robin. In round robin algorithm, the requests are routed to the servers based on natural ordering. Consider these are the set of requests R1 to R6 that are coming in at the time T1 to T6. The load balancer would then assign the request R1 to server 1, R2 to server 2, and finally the request R3 to server 3 in the first group of allocation. Similarly, for the future requests, R4, R5, R6 are allocated to the servers 1 to 3 as well. The next static load balancing algorithm is weighted round robin. This is a very popular load balancing technique. In this technique, the first step is to assign weights to each of the server. In this scenario, consider we are assigning a weight of 50 to server 1, 25 to server 2, and 25 to server 3. So the total weight of all of the servers is 100. Once the weights are assigned, then the next step is whenever the requests are coming in, the load balancer maintains an internal state of current weight for each of these servers and then increment their weights and then select a server with the highest weight and adjust the weight as well. Um, let's look at this more in detail with an example. In weighted round robin, the load balancer maintains an internal state with the current weights for each of the servers. And in each iteration, these weights are incremented by the weights of the server. So the first iteration for request 1, weight 1 would be incremented to 50, 25, 25. And since server 1 has the highest weight, that would be picked for R1. And similarly, after we pick the request, the weight of the server 1 is decremented by total weight of 100. So that would lead to the weights of server A as minus 50. Now for the next request, we would again increment each of the weights by the corresponding weights. That would lead to like the weights of 0, 50, and 50. Now the load balancer would then pick the server with highest weight, that would be server 2, and the request R2 would be routed to the server 2. We also have to now adjust the weight, and the algorithm proceeds in the similar way for the next request of R3. Now for R3, the weight of server 1 would be incremented by 50 leading to 50, and for the server 2 we now have adjusted weight as minus 50 plus 25, that would lead to the weight of minus 25, and now for server 3 the weight would be 75. At this point the server 3 would be picked because that has the highest weight, and R3 is routed to server 3. Now we also have to adjust the weight of server 3, and then for R4 the iteration would continue to have the weights of 100 and 0 and 0 again. Now at this point server 1 has the highest weight, that would be picked for routing the request R4. Now we also have to adjust the weight of server 1 by 100, so that would lead to weight of 0. For the next request R5, the weight of server 1 would be incremented by 50, and weight of 2 by 25, and weight of 3 by another 25, and again the iteration would continue. That's a bit about how the round robin works for weighted case. The next common static load balancing algorithm is IP hash based load balancing. In this approach, the load balancer typically calculates the hash of the client IP address and uses a modulo operator and selects the server based on the result of modulo operation. Consider now in this scenario, say R1 to R3 are coming in from a client 1 which has the IP address 1. Similarly R4, R5 from client 2, and R6, R7 from client 3, and R8 is coming from say client 2. here are some hypothetical IP addresses for the client 1, 2, and 3, and the modulo operation here is performed on a size of 3 as there are 3 servers, and these are some random hash values generated as well. For the first request, R1 is from IP1, so we take a modulo of the hash that would give us a value of 2, so the request would be routed to 2 plus 1, that is server 3. So all of the requests from IP1 would then be routed to the server 3 always, that is R1, R2, R3. Similarly, for the requests from IP2, say we are getting a hash value, a random value here, and its modulo operation is returning in a value of 0. Then that means the requests from all the requests from IP2 are then routed to server 1. That is requests R4, R5, and R8 are then routed to the server 1. Now for the client 3, with this hypothetical IP address and a hash function, say the modulo is returning as 1, then the client 3 requests would then be routed to server 2. That is, requests R6 and R7 are then routed to server 2. So that's a bit of overview of IP hash based algorithm. Hope you all got a good idea on static load balancing algorithms. Thank you for watching this video.